All right, then we can start. I think you had a lot of interviews already. Is that right?
Yep, it's all good.
Great. So let's talk about the new album. There's a song about George Floyd on it, a song about COVID, a song about PTSD. What would you say is the main message of your album?
Well, I think that it's just my overview of events that I witnessed over the course of the writing and the recording process. So the presentation of Bon Jovi 2020 is our being witness to history.
Yeah. You finished the album before COVID, but it fits perfectly. How come?
There was a lot of events leading up to it. You know, when we went to Nashville in March of 2019 with what I thought were the songs from the record, in retrospect, they just became the first batch. And after the fact, I had written Let It Rain, Lower the Flag, American Reckoning, Do What You Can. So 4 of the 10 songs were written after the fact. The album title 2020, in truth, I had come up with thinking, well, it'll be a presidential election year. It'll be tongue-in-cheek, cute bumper sticker, a t-shirt, whatever. But as things kept happening and I kept writing and realizing as this witness to history, that title took on a whole nother deeper meaning. And the album became very topical. Not political in my eyes, but topical. And so now I think, you know, in light of the last 2 songs, it's a complete work of this moment in time.
How did COVID change your life?
I think it helped me hit a reset button. It allowed me the chance to stop and not just album tour, promote, you know, go to work, make a buck, do. It really changed my kind of priorities, and it reintroduced me to my children, which is probably the greatest thing I got out of this. It allowed me that kind of an opportunity to reconnect to what's most important, which was my family.
I got the same thing with my 2 boys. We had a lot of time. Do you think that musical and cultural business is supported enough in times like these?
The world kept spinning, you know. Now, I don't think that, truthfully, Pierre, we've seen the fallout from all of this yet. You know, whether it was restaurants that couldn't open for the longest time and small business, or commercial real estate, and will people go back to those offices and rent all that space, and will you need to go on as many business trips or run around the globe and do interviews? That's yet to be seen. But the simplification, the reset button, those pictures you saw on the news of you're being able to see the Taj Mahal in India and the sky cleared, you know, across Europe, and in New York when the streets were empty and yet business seemed to go on, it made us all go, hey, wait a minute, you know, this could be a good thing. Now, granted, 1 million people have lost their lives, 200,000 which are in America, jobs that are lost or aren't coming back, people that are relying on the government right now. These are tough times. So like I said, we don't know the outcomes. But on one side, there's a little bit of goodness that came too.
You talk about politics. What do you think about the presidential election this fall? You support Joe Biden. Why is it so important to change person on the White House, in your opinion?
Well, I'm not going to say, oh, one is bad, one is good. But one gift that we have in America is every 4 years, every single person in every single window that I can see out my window has an equal say in the matter. And they can elect the direction that they're looking for this country to take. And so, Strombo, you're early.
No, I thought it was 10 o'clock.
No, it's 1 o'clock, and I'm doing an interview right now in Germany that you're intruding on. I'll call you back.
Call me back.
I look forward to it. Goodbye.
Me too. Bye-bye.
Some crazy Canadian who keeps trying to interfere with all the interviews and calling in on FaceTime.
They have another
I know the
clock up
guy's
there.
face. I know his face. It's the third time he's tried it. So these Canadians.
Funny though.
Excuse me.
No problem. You were telling us about the personal change in the White House.
You know, the truth is that America is at a crossroads, and the direction it's going to take, either or, and these are extreme views. It's going to go one way or the other. When the voice of the electorate are heard, it's going to have a ripple effect around the world. So this is, when they say it's the most important election of our lifetime, it's the most important election of our lifetime, most definitely. And I just hope that the healing happens afterwards. Regardless of what it means.
And you think it's important that many people go to the election and vote?
I'm astounded that 40% of Americans do not vote. 4 in 10 don't vote. And then they complain. You can't complain if you don't vote.
That's right. Let's go back to music. I listened to a lot of Bon Jovi in front of this interview, a lot of new stuff and also old stuff. What would you say, how has Bon Jovi changed compared to the 80s?
Well, I think we've evolved. And on the other hand, you know, there's always been a bit of a social consciousness. If you really think about Runaway and discount the video but consider the lyric, when I used to get off of the Greyhound bus that would drop me off at 42nd Street, I was fortunate enough to walk to 53rd Street to a recording studio while other young people were sitting in that bus station working the streets. So there was an awareness of the world around me. But I grew up in suburban New Jersey, so it wasn't first and foremost in what was building my character. You know, in truth, at 21 and 25, I had blinders on. I had one goal, and that was to be the lead singer of a rock and roll band. And because I'd been here so long, and nearly 40 years of record making, if I tried to sing You Give Love a Bad Name at 58 years old, I would hope that you'd be bored talking to me. If I didn't evolve as a songwriter and as a man, I don't think I'd be very interesting in an interview. And so, you know, here we are in 2020, and I'm writing about the world at large. I think it's natural.
Yeah. So, is there, despite of that, any chance that you will write songs that are hard, like Raise Your Hand or You Give Love a Bad Name? Because at the moment your songs are more softly, not that hard rock statement.
Yeah, I'm saying that's not what I have any desire to rewrite Raise Your Hands. Love the song, works great lives to this day. Been there, done that. You know, it's just not a natural part of the progression. Nope, you know, love it, but that I was 25. Richie and I wrote that, and that's what I had to say then.
Great. We're a radio station, and I asked that all the guys who I interview, why do you think radio is still important in this time?
Radio is the great communicator, you know, even with streaming services and all of the internet and music at your fingertips. The most important man in the music business is the DJ. That's you, my friend, because you can communicate the message. You can talk to the listener about what's new or what's old and sounds new. You can communicate the stories and the themes and bring community together through song. And your knowledge of the music and the history of music allows you to be the expert in the field to help bring people together.
All right. Last question. What kind of music do you currently listen to? What artists do you like?
I like a lot of things, you know, and I try to give new stuff a listen. and I'm wide open to listening to it. But in the most recent days, the things that have moved me was the album by the Chicks or the Killers. And I've heard Bruce's new record, and it's really good. So that it's more established artists. Even the Strokes aren't a new band anymore, but at the beginning of the COVID, I heard their new record, and that wasn't something that I thought I would really love, but I thought it was a great record. So, that's pretty much what I'm listening to.
Great.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Pierre.
I hope we see us again via Zoom or in person. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, buddy.
Antenne Sylt. Bester Rock and Pop.